Right, in this video I'm going to be doing the two last bits of preparation before I try and consider perhaps starting the timing belt on this Ford Focus 1.5 TDCI. It's a 2015, so I think it's a Mark 3.5, I think, if I remember rightly. Now, I don't know whether or not what tool I need to unloosen. No, I don't mean unloosen, I mean to untension the tensioner on this drive belt down here. So remember, the timing belt is here, but the tensioner will be hidden in there for the actual timing belt, but there's also a tensioner for this drive belt, the auxiliary belt that runs the alternator. And if you look here, I'm going to try and get a closer view if possible. Looking down here, there's a little bumpy bit with two lines on it, so that tells you, I guess, if it's out of that range, the tension is losing strength. And so nice little mechanism in there. Looking at this, there's a flat bit at the top. I got a feeling it's put a spanner in there and then kind of pull this way. So let's test that out. So using a 15, seems to slot on there quite nicely. Gentle pull. Seems to leave the tension quite well. See that? Right, so genuine Ford part. I'm not going to choose anything that's not genuine Ford. It costs a lot more though, maybe double, maybe even 2.5 times as much maybe. But this sort of job, I'm not going to risk it. So there's the part number somewhere on there. Maybe it's the 1872492 number, though it's still made in China. So anyway, there it is. So it comes like that, and there's a little arrow saying that way. This little pin here holds back. If I was to, once I've installed it, once I pull the pin out, that's when it's going to go spring open. So in theory, this is keeping it in place. Now I've got to be careful the pin doesn't drop out. So I'm just using a, trying to find which only key fits in there, though that doesn't look exactly hexagonal. Let's try. Okay. There's hardly any effort in turning it. It's probably got up because the pin is in the way. So it is the 6mm. Let's try the 8, just in case it could be an 8. No, way too big. Let's try a 7 in case it's 7. I'm not even putting it anywhere near this magnetic tray. You never know what sort of negative effect that will have. Pause 1 second while I get the tool. Here's a 7. So you want something that fits perfectly, right? So it's definitely not a 7. Yes, it could be a 6. Could it be a quarter? So it's not imperial. So let's go for one smaller than a quarter, which is 332. Nope. 732. No, it's not that. So it's a 6mm. So my last job before, it fits perfectly. The last job is to see if I can fashion a tool to fit on that flywheel. So it's going. Right, so I'm underneath the car, taking the cover off. Now I think I'm going to end up using this. The tip of a long nose plier spread open. Once I do that, I can vary the kind of gap between the handles of the pliers, and I can probably clamp it, metal clamps, right, screw-on clamps at the front and at the back. Now I kind of hold the flywheel and look, and it's quite the teeth of the, or the tongs and the business end of the pliers is quite smooth. So, and it kind of slots in nicely as well, to a point where it can't go anymore. You know what I mean? So I can find the spot where it's just sitting there really nice, fits in like that, or whatever suits, and that should hold it in nicely, I think. You know, enough so that it shouldn't move.
You have to go right round the loop.
Just hold a single teeth. So one or two of the combinations that help me, I've noticed I just rest that handle quite flush to the shaft here. So that's what I'm going to do. The configuration I had earlier, it seemed to work quite well. It's not damaging to the teeth. The end of this is, you know, a little bit rough, of course, but I can always tape it up. So tape up the end, the nut of the nose of the plier. I'm not putting any force on now, so that's fine. And it's pretty strong metal. Hopefully, if I tape it up, if it did snap, if I tape up the whole of that, if it did snap, no bits will fall out. You know what I mean? You've got to think of logical things out altogether. Because if I did put force on it somehow, which I shouldn't do, but if I did, and it kind of snapped, you know what I mean? The tip would stay inside the electrical tape, right? So whenever you do things like this, obviously make sure you take it out. Right, okay. That timing hole on a crank is a lot more visible now. The view from below is, tension is here. Right, with the cover off, we see this area now. Notice how someone had already put a mark there. Here's my timing for. Oh, here's my timing hole. So far, right, as well as using one of these long nose pliers, which I could tape up to make sure if it does snap or anything, nothing falls into anywhere. To lock the flywheel, we've got these flywheel pins here. Now that I've spun it until I think it's top dead center. Now the mark over there, I've just kind of repainted. That was like a faded out mark on the actual fuel pump. Looks like there was a mark there also previously, so that was in the same place. So it is top dead center. This mark here I've just put on, but this mark here I've just reiterated on top. So that pin here at this location tells you that the flywheel, the the cam wheel is in the right place for top dead center. And also here, right there where that pin is, I pinned it right through with a locking pin. So this is the kind of scenario I would use to just before I'm going to crank this nut off, which may be really tight. Alright, so of course the engine, I haven't even bothered taking the sensor off yet. You'll have to kind of support the engine here before the engine mount comes off. Once the engine mount's off, take off, well, the sensor should have been unplugged, take off the bolts, the lower timing belt cover, take the cover off, of course take the serpentine belt off first, and from there pretty straightforward after that. Now I've been talking to my brother, and he's been saying to me, look, this belt looks good, don't take it off, don't take it off. Even though service interview, you know, it's come up now, it's the time. There's some oil that's leaked in here from the cam cover. Luckily it's not on the belt. So he said that looks really good, that looks really good. Let me have a look at the old belt. The old belt looks kind of good according to compared to the new belt. So he advised me not to change it, and I probably will leave it for a little while. I think he's probably right. I mean, this belt's still good still got a bit of life in it, and it's quite healthy. Don't do things unless you have to. That's one of the rules. So next time you see me, I'm going to keep this video. Next time you see me working on it, it may be a while later. So this is now July 2018. Who knows when I'm going to change this, but keep checking it, that's what I can say. Top cover's easy to take off. As soon as it looks a bit diminished, that's the time I'll probably change it. Hello, I'm back. It is the 16th of April 2019. Now I don't know what date I previously had on the previous little clip, probably a year ago. But a year on, I need to change my timing belt, and I'm thinking, because I've got a week off work, that this is a good time. Now on this Ford OVA file downloaded from emanuals.com and on this I do recommend getting this because it's got all the Ford cars in there, including Ford Mustang. So on the Ford Focus 1.5 TDCi Mark 3.5, so that's 2000. I've got the 2015, so it goes from 214 to 217. And when I open up the bit about the engine and I click on the timing belt bit, which is around here somewhere, these are the tools I need. Locking tool flywheel, I cannot find it anywhere. I think I even asked, I went to the extent of asking for this equipment, and there isn't any. I don't think so. Right, okay. I think I can use a pair of long nose pliers and put it in there. No, below that message, that's I don't think I've ever checked with Ford, and thinking about it now, I should really check with Ford if I've got something very similar to this. But it's such an awkward shape, that tool there and that shape there was not going to fit in those two little holes, I'm sure. See my previous video on preparing for Focus 4 time belt change. I think I use long nose pliers. Right, so dowel with 5mm, alignment peg, camshaft, crankshaft. I've got these, and dowel with 5mm. So 5mm drill, need a tool, trolley jack, wooden block. Take off the lid, simple. Take off the bottom tray. So where's the front of the one? I think this is the front here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So 5 at the front, 3 at the back. Now on my car you'll see I will not need to do this. It's not connected. I think it's possibly because it's been done before. They just left out all the brackets that support the fuel pipes. Definitely haven't got this. This is not there. It's just not there. On the side of the upper cover of the cam belt cover. So in there's some sort of a switch I'll need to pull out. And this is again on the side of the cam belt cover. I'll look for that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to go through it all, get as much information as I can, then write a list down, and then ticky box list as I go down. I leave a space in the piece of paper, and then when I go to reinstall it, to make sure I tick all the boxes as I go back up the list. So water tank, expansion tank, take it off, it just uncouples. I've showed you how to do this before. The upper cover, these are non-losable screws. You will lose them if you undo them too much, but just undo them until it's loose, then it will just pop out. Right, at this stage here, I'll need to also obviously jack up the car, the front of the car, and I'll be working on a slope as usual, and take off the bottom tray, of course. Additionally, I've got a water pump to change, an idler, a tensioner, and of course the belt. So what I'll do when I jack up the car, in the midst of doing all this, you'll see me draining out the water, the coolant, and I've got new coolant, and it takes the oats, I think it's OAT coolant, and it's kind of pinkish colour. That's the one they use, that's the long life one, that's the one you should be using. My one's going a bit off colour now, so it's time to change. There's a sensor at the bottom of the, when you take off the driver's side, that's right side of the car, right hand side, driver's side UK, right hand side of the car anywhere else plus US. You'll see that there is the wheel cover. Take off the wheel and there's the wheel cover. Not the wheel cover, I mean the shroud in the engine bay, the plastic shroud. Take that off, and that's easy enough. And then you'll expose the crank wheel, if you want to call it crank, whatever you call it, at the bottom. And this has got not showing the belt in place, but anyway, the belt will be there. Take off that sensor, and I've got these spare little clips here because they might be destroyed, and I've got spare ones. Now the annoying thing with this is, make sure that I've got the 1.5 TD side, that's the torque on it. Annoying thing is pictures, although I've got all the cars that Ford ever produces, there's some pictures missing, lots of pictures missing. I have to kind of interpret. It says remove the following item, refer the start motor. Now when I guess it's some of the covers, that's what it means. Make sure that crankshaft not rotate while the special tool is inserted. So special tool 303-393. So 303-393, 303 locking flywheel tool. So I need to, at this point, lock the flywheel in. Okay. Make sure the crankshaft, make sure this doesn't rotate while the special tool is installed. So what I would have done is taken off the top cover, put a, now this shows already the crank bolt is not there. I'll take the cover off, the bolt would be there. Crank it around clockwise, it should be, I'll double check, and you'll see me later on, double check. Crank it around until, when you take this off, there's it shows the single overhead wheel with a clamp, single overhead shaft with a wheel attached, and there'll be like a timing pinhole. Now the crank rotates twice for each one of these rotations at the top. So this is the bottom, that's the top. 2 turns of that makes 1 turn of that, and because it's not a double overhead cam, which is fantastic, it's only single overhead cam, I'd have to worry about this side, because if that was the case, you might have to turn this around 4 times for that's aligned, and then the hole on this side is aligned, or you might, who knows, it might be 8 times. But if I was to turn it once around and this hole wasn't there, if I turn the bottom once around with a socket spanner, I think it's like 19 or 21, I can't remember. If it's not around, maybe it's halfway, just do it more again, no full turn, and it will be up to top. When that's aligned, you're ready, then I think that's what it means. What it means is to lock the flywheel. Make sure that the crank shaft is not rotatable. Oh, I've read that one. Take extra care when handling a crank position sensor ring. Note, this step is not necessary in installing a new component. Only tighten the bolt finger tight at this stage. Crankshaft position sensor ring. So it's talking about this. Take care when you're handling this thing. There's a sensor there. Take extra care when handling. Oh, I just read that. The special tool can only be installed if the valve timing is correct. So top dead center on cylinder 1, the one nearest to the right hand cylinder, and I remember I tried to take it off and take off the cover so I can be absolutely dead certain that it's top dead center. But I couldn't take off the cover. I can't remember why. But look at my previous video preparing for timing belt change on this car. Says it again. Here it is. There's the hole. So once you crank it enough at the bottom, that will line up. So there it is. It's at 1:30 o'clock. 303.735. 303.735. And I think I have been to Ford and asked them about that special flywheel locking tool. I think they just don't do it. That's what it was. They just say they don't sell it. I'll be more, I'm sure I'm more careful than that. It says that at this point, block of wood, jack up from the oil pan, right? Jack it up, and if there's space, I might put and if it's the right height, I might put a stand there instead of the jacking. But always leave myself some space to still jack it up, just in case someone just runs around. Oh, I forget. It just undoes the handle. Might take the handle off. That might be a way of doing it. Make sure that doesn't happen. But it can be dangerous in an emergency. I can't jack it up, but it should be okay. Reason is because the engine mount's going to be taken off on the right side. Right. So now there'll be pictures that are not there showing removal of their. This is the engine mount that is stuck on the side of the engine. So already the engine mount will have to be taken out. And on the Ford Fiesta, actually, it's a bit clearer actually. So I might jump to the Ford Fiesta to show you the engine mount. There's more pictures on the Ford Fiesta one. Now this is the this yellow cog here, if I remember right. This is the fuel pump, I think. There's a hole there. That's why I needing my 5mm diameter dowel. So here at the bottom, that's water pump. That's the tensioner. There's the idler. There's a wheel at the top. Crank it at the bottom somewhere. So that, I think that's a fuel pump. So still, I've got that dowel in fit, that special tool fit at the top, on the top camshaft wheel, I guess you want to call that. Tells you about Newton meters here. This is talking about reinstalling. So this is at 55 Newton meters, and this 1990 is probably the actual engine mount 90 Newton meters. So it's talking about taking that away, I guess. Remove that dowel. Remove that one. Then then you've got to rotate. There's another on the crank on the bottom. There is another timing hole. Right. So let's jump to the Ford Fiesta. This is it's got better pictures than on this. You ever get this package? Just no to everything. Don't do any updates. So all it is jumping into vehicle. The same model will be this one, 2017. Put 17 in there, search. Fiesta. Let's look for something similar. Powertrain. Engine. Let's see if we can find the diesel. Okay. It's the same, didn't know they had that on the Ford Fiesta. Time belt. Same tools. Looks the same tools. Different water expansion tank. Similar, very similar, look, very similar. Everything looks very similar. Give me more pictures. Put that in. Pump it up. Here it is. The engine mount looks like this. Number 1, number 2. 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That pops up. Then it exposes the mount that's stuck on the side of the engine. 4 of them. 3, 3. They look like Torx. Undo. I guess them with the engine block supported at the bottom. Pump it up until it lifts a little bit. Tiny little lift. So when you undo this, you know it's not going to go, straining on one bolt as the last bolt is undone. There's that same picture. Let's talk about doing it back up. There is a second timing. There is a second timing hole, and it's the bottom here. It's at the bottom of this. Give me a second. I'm going to find. Right, this is from the 2011 Ford Focus, and the pictures are more. There's no missing pictures. They're more complete. Now, I guess if you was to buy this same package, this over package from emanuals.com, that the pictures will be more. They'll be more complete. In fact, it might even, I said don't do any updates. It might be worth me trying an update and trying this again. But anyway, be similar. It says change the bolt. I can see why, because it's quite. It's got like some sort of locking thing here on this side. But on my car, on the newer model, on the 2014 plus model for 215, there's a pin here. There's a hole here, so I don't need this locking tool. However, this is important. Stage 1, 100 Newton meters. Wow, that's tight. It says here to remove the tool. I think it means install the tool, because you can't tighten that with that thing spinning and everything spinning around. Since you've got dual overhead cam as well on this model, this 2011 model, even more complicated. So stage 100 Newton meters. This is useful. Stage 2, 90 degrees more. Then it says wait 10 seconds and another 15 degrees. That's what I'm going to go by. So, and it's got all these other bits in it. So this is not the model I'm working on. See the dual overhead cam, this special thing. Much easier to have a single overhead cam. Right, so I'm going to put my put everything on a spreadsheet. And if you want to copy that spreadsheet, just let me know and I'll send you one. I'll just send you a link. And I'll send you a spreadsheet from my email. Alright, so. Right, in today's video, I am going to be, it's probably stretching over 2, maybe 3 days, hopefully do it in less than 2. The timing belt on this Ford Focus Mark 3.5, that's 2014 to 2017. Right, so that's the one with Aston Martin front grille. Okay, it's also the one that's got single overhead cam, and it should be, today's date should be the 12th of April, I think it's 13th, and it's been a while since I said I was going to do it, and now here's the day. I've got these extra large stands. 6,000 kg. It says down the bottom there, I don't know if you can see it. 6,000 kg. What it means, it can take a lot. 6-ton axle stands. I'm going to be working in my usual slope, as you can see. I'm on a slope, so now I found that working on a slope is kind of risky unless you've got some good equipment. One of the ways I can mitigate that is to use, like I said, good equipment. Also, I put special rubber feet under here to catch the floor to make sure it doesn't slip. Use plenty of gigantic 20k bridge blocks, not bridge blocks but giant bricks, like 20k each. I stack maybe 3, maybe 2 or 3 of them there. Also, working on the slope means that when I've got the front of the car jacked up and I'm on the front, you'll find that actually then the car's level, right? So it makes putting things like lower control arms in, or even subframes that kind of shift around, unless you was like horizontal, makes it a lot easier. So it's good and bad about it. Obviously the risk of it slipping and killing you is really high. Make sure your handbrake's on tight, breeze block the hell out of it, giant stands, and have a secondary system as well, not just one, maybe another 2 on the side. So I'm going to make sure everything feels good, and I'm going to get the car jacked up. Oh, this job I've created on an Excel, all the steps that I'm going to do. There's probably 1 or 2 that I've forgotten about, and I'm going to annotate this as I go along. So I'll read down the steps as I've done it. I'll check it off, and when coming back the other way, right at the end, it's not exactly reversals, the same as fitting. Installation is the same as putting on, so it's not exactly the same as that. So I said here, go to step 21 and above and complete all reinstalling step, because you kind of got to do a bit of jiggling at the end, where it's not exactly put something on, take something off, put something on, take something off. So I've got all the steps here. Hopefully they are right, and what I'll do is I'll put them on the big screen at the end with all the complete torque specs on there, and whatever size head, hex bolts or whatever I need torques, I'll put it on there as well, because this is just speculating. So going down and then coming back up, I'm going to check them all. So going down, check. Imagine I got to the end, it says jump to step 21, and check all the way back up, so don't forget anything. Alright, okay. Let's step 1, disconnect the negative battery terminal. For this job I'll be using my trusty jack here. I've got a second jack. Now the second jack, the purpose of it could be to lift the engine from the base of the oil pan, and then to put it on a block of wood. The block of wood will be supported by a stand, hopefully, not by the actual jack, because you can't really rely on jacks. I might leave it overnight, that's the thing. These are I think they make these for washing machines. They're really tough rubber. This is what's going to go at the base of my, you see the round ring where the foot of the 6-ton jack had sat before. Okay, so let's get it up. Now if you're unsure of how to put a car on stands on the slope, then watch my video how to jack up a car on the slope. On this car, this is the location I normally jack it up to, and I notice I use smaller 3-ton jacks, axle stands to begin with, and then I move up progressively after that. Don't want anything pushing on these things, you know. Thing I changed, remember, the lower control arm. I'm going to take that away, and probably the danger being, the greater danger is the car tipping forward, so that's why I've angled the forks forwards and backwards, so the chance of it rolling forwards, pitching, is lower. So then again, when I'm jacking left and right, it can topple, so the way the prongs are left and right, if I went straight for the very large stand, toppling it, could be a very great risk. So backwards and forward pitching is the most risky. So block of wood, and where I've got a video on that, where to jack up the car as well in the Ford Focus, and that's what I do anyway. So that's on there now. I've cut out little grooves into the piece of wood for the forks to stick into. That's one. I did equivalent for the other side. I might jump straight onto the large one now. Right, in the end, that's the configuration I got. Didn't use the 6-ton jacks in the end. The axle stands, I didn't use them in the end. Got my rubber feet in there, slight angle, and pressing down on a good support point. I doubled up though, just in case. These are loose, but just in case I'm working underneath and it gives away, these will catch it on its normal jacking point. So I'm just going to double check everything. The feet over there look a bit skewed. No, they look like they're sitting fine. So nothing looks like it's going to topple. Now, if you look now, the car's more level. It's still a bit nose down, but more level than you would do if you just jacked it straight up. It would do if I used the big ones, it'll be perfectly level, but I just couldn't fit my jack underneath here to jack it, and then fit the big ones underneath that spot. It just wasn't just quite right. It's next to the neighbour's cars in a way. Right, so ticking off the boxes. Let's tick off another one. So that's up my handbrake on tight, jack up, put on stand. Read the whole box before you, don't do them one at a time. Read the whole box before you carry on. Chop rear wheels. I'm going to put an extra block about here. Okay, take that off before you lower the car. So I'm just going to tick that, and I'm going to put this extra block. Right. Next one's take off road wheel. The right hand side, take off bottom tray. I won't bore you that. Please watch my other video where I show you how to take off the bottom tray. Drain the coolant, where I'm going to catch up. Incidentally, going back to the first point, the negative battery terminal is connected to here. See that cable running out on the battery? I put a bag over it, put it in a cardboard box, because if that flops around, it's just going to touch something and then discharge electricity. So now, no chance. Right, so number 6, drain the engine coolant. Right, marked a tub. Old radiator coolant must dispose of carefully. That's exactly what I must do. Very poisonous stuff. I've chucked a load of this before onto some vegetation just outside my front garden, and nothing grew for about 5 years. So it's harmful to animals, harmful to the plants. Right, let's get on. Left hand side of the engine, see that plug just there? Just there. Twisty screwy thing. So I've got my funnel underneath. It's probably going to come out one of these holes in down here or something. So usually goes very, very messy. Or it might shoot out. And I don't want to get this. Don't get this stuff on paintwork. Don't get this stuff on anything. Very, very, very toxic. No chance. I'm going to do that by hand. So pair of pliers. Right. Okay. So what I needed. Pliers away. Open the cap at the top to allow the air to go in so you can drain it. So I had to change this anyway because I don't think I've changed it yet as of yet. So that's where the plug comes out. It just comes out most of the way, and it pops out. Used an old fuel, well, it's a new fuel pipe. Anything that fit that little nozzle. So filling up, and I'll dispose of this. You need OATS, O-A-T-S coolant for this car. Right, another step doing or done, takes a little while. I need a Torx 30 to remove the inner wheel arch. I need a trim removing tool. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3 Torx pluggy thing, plastic, probably up the top. I'm sure what that one is down there. And have yourself a wide selection of equipment to, especially like me, I don't know, can recognise that flat one there. I don't know what that is. But have a wide selection of things to plug up the gap. Alright, oh, did it by hand. Is that the same as the? Nope. These ones go and fasten the under tray, so these ones here are a bit shorter. Okay. Notice I've not.
Gdzie idziesz?
Notice I've got no cover on the harmonic balancer. Kind of tells me maybe it's been done before. And that's a shorter screw as well. So it should be a rubber cover. I can't remember if no, there was another one. And I marked. Look, I've remarked the wheel in white paint with a hole. Which where the hole is. I'll show you what I mean. See it there? There's a timing hole. That's on the wheel, and that should match up with the 12 o'clock timing hole behind it. These catches, plastic latches, have 4 prongs, and the ones that hold the under tray have 3 prongs. And mark my word, there will be a difference. Just won't go in properly. Probably underneath here as well. Underneath the front, it's probably easy in the long run to remove the whole thing. I suppose it's all of that. Right. Whoop. Okay. Number 7. Nope. Number 8. Unplug crankshaft sensor and remove cabling. Unplugging it usually difficult. Removing cabling means you need to take the cable off that lower cam belt case. I'm to work up there. And make sure you've got those spare cable tie things that plug into holes. I don't know how big the hole is, but I know I've got ones for 9mm hole. Maybe these will fit in there, I don't know. We'll find out. Get this plug, usually awkward. Funny awkward spot. Not too awkward. For weakness. I think they kind of do use as intelligent tests. There was a tiny little yellow tag. See that yellow tag? Push down on that and it pops out. Push down quite a lot and then it pulled out really nicely. So leave that where it is. Let's deal with these. And honestly, it wouldn't hurt to put a bit of contact spray on anything electrical when you unplug like that. Plenty of time to dry. Now, 3 of them 9mm clips. There's also one square one. Trying to just holding the torch. Just there. And that was not in the hole, not in the square hole. So that, I think, is strong evidence that this timing belt had been done before. Maybe at like 60,000. It's at 135,000 now. So I put roughly 60,000 more on it, I think, because you can change these at 100,000. So 3 of them. And that's that job done. Here is the tensioner, just here, for the drive belt. This is the drive belt. This is not the cam belt. When you see, so mental picture how it fits. And I'm going to put a note, an extra note. Draw the belt, the serpentine or the AC belt, if you want to call it that way. Draw that. Right, this is what it looks like. Crank AC alternator, 6 rib belt tensioner. Extra step in. Right, next comes the removal. You can just move that like I'm just gonna remove this suspension tank. Oh, funny little clips. I don't know what that is. The rear one's much more awkward. Get a small pry bar, get behind these pipes, and then go from underneath and then just twist, and it comes out. You see, what you don't want to do is yank on that and crack something, because that would be really bad. Right, so tools I need: pry bar, and I kind of use this to get the front one, which is much easier. That kind of just lifts up out of the way if I need to get anything. After some clearing up, I found this funny tool. In fact, I had a big box of funny tools, and that came in handy for doing this pipe. So we know that's not gonna. We notice a little notch that goes on the top there. Right, so I'm sure this is a sensor. It's best to leave that in there. Or break it. Oh no, hang on. It's a sensor. Delicate looking thing. Leave it. Right, that's out of the way. Soak up anything, because that will ruin your paintwork. Oh, extra step. See this windscreen top-up thing? Notice I've got a cable tie on it. It's because, notice where I've tied it as well. I've made an extra little cable tie there. Where's my, yeah, there. And I've tied a cable tie into it because this thing is wobbly. Take that out because you're going to lose it anyway. And it's in the way. Right, next, unclip any fuel lines from any upper bracket on the upper cam cover. And I don't have any. These cables are quite stiff, so I don't have any. And I can see there's some sort of a bracket down below, down there. See that? Down there, but up here, nope. You usually should, that's another reason why I think it's been done. There's no bracket here, there should be one just there. That comes a bit later, I think, that bracket. Right, I've got a very large 6-tonner axle just here, and it's just square on the far left. See, there's no more room. See that? I should center it a bit more actually. Pumping up should be not so as important as keeping it kind of steady. So I'm going to shift everything to the right at ½ an inch. So as I pump it up, what I need is it to be lifting the engine slightly, because when that engine mount is taken off, it's going to sink. Alright, and I just want it just to hold it. So I want the engine actually to be in the same spot as it was before I pumped it up. So right now it's lifting it slightly with the engine mount, everything still in place. I mean, you can pump this like crazy and it'll damage. See that? But it's slightly lifting. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift everything if it allows me. So it really is helpful. Just a different type of equipment. You've seen my usual massive jack. This is just a little bit smaller. And I'm ready, when I pump it up, I will later, what I mean is, when I take the engine mount off, pump it up, and then this will be loose, pull up one ratchet, and then let it go and let it sit on this, and that is really square now. It's actually fine. Right, it's ready. So now this jack is of course nothing like the other jack. It's slightly lifting, a bit more probably than it is. Too much and I won't be able to undo the bolts. It'll just be under tension. So at the moment it's not really sitting on the wood very well. I could probably do with just a little bit more. There we go. Right. Removing engine mount. Point 15, remove engine out. Hex 3 right and 1 first. I don't see 3, I see 1, 2. 2 on the side. It seems to be on like a bridge. And 3 torques here. So this is obviously, the engine is hanging on these 3 bolts downwards. If I was to undo them and there was a problem below, what will happen is the engine will just drop and I'll snap the engine mount from the other side, God knows what else. So the logical way to do it is to take these 2 out, so the weight will still be on the car, and then undo these slowly. As I undo them slowly, I'm going to pump up from below, and if it's tight, I'm going to pump it up a little bit. If it's tight, pump it up a little bit, and then eventually ratchet the massive 6-ton axle up one, and then it'll sit on it nicely. Because the problem is, the extra problem is, you won't be able to get it back in the hole. Luckily, I'm just going to get it sitting on there, like so. Alright. Just use some Tipex on the side of the mount and here, just to remind myself. So mount bolts are off, that's what it looked like. Notice on this side, you know, it's a good thing you take a picture. It's just kind of right where the thread is, dead center, left and right, but forwards of the actual threads. Same at the back, but the back is more is not, you know, this is not square on, is it? You can see use a marker pen. I mean, I can see how I've marked it as well down there. It's a bit greasy down there, that's why it's not marking it very well. So all the way over, pushed all the way to the left, and all the way down, and not pushed over to the left in the centre. So kind of make a note of things like that, because this thing is going to be hard to. These things are just, well, it's obvious what you do, but these ones are not. Right, so it's actually an 18 deep socket you need. I forgot to pull these out of the way, they're quite flexible. 18 deep socket, and count the threads. 1, 2, 3. Counting that top one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 full threads I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. They're all, you can see 4 threads in all of them. I just rightly so went to pump the from below, and it slipped. So this is a very good idea doing this. So I should really take the weight of the engine now. So let's do it. Let's do what we can. It doesn't matter if it lifts over a little bit. Right. As you can see, kind of just wobbles, which is what it's supposed to do. So it's no problem. Because I've got it on a downward slope, it's just dropping down. So it shouldn't be a problem me inserting the bolts in a bit later on. Right. I have jacked it up quite a bit. The engine mount is lifted off. See that? Always do things safely as possible. It should be still movable once I lower it. Just going to keep that there. Pump it up just a little bit. I will take this pump away, this jack away if I need to. Extra security. So now, see if there's any strain. Hopefully I can still. That's just how I want it really. Right, good. I'll make these 2 bolts. One was a bit rusty, about 120 millimeters. That one was not rusty, it was about 120. This one was more than that, probably 180, but it was rusty. So I'm going to install it at 120. This one, it says it should be 90, but I don't know if it is going to be 90. I really should have done these with the bolts still attached. And I might do that now. I might insert the bolt back in a little bit. Give me that pull. Give me that lead. Now I've got something to push against. Okay. I just didn't even use the meter long bar for this. These are 90. That baby is going to be free really now. These nuts are 18 and there's 4 full threads, including the top, very top. You saw it for yourself. Oh, okay. What's going on there? So they're nuts, they're actually bolts. You can do it by Torx, I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, like that. Right. Oh, the 4 full threads are still there. I just wonder if I'm meant to insert something in there and twist. I guess I'm just going to count 2, 3, 4. Still 4 full threads. So they're nuts. No, I'm losing some threads here. So when I wind it down, there's going to be 4 full threads. That's what it's saying to me. They do twist, these nuts do twist. It's a case of holding the centre with the torques. So it will need torques, and I'll show you which one it is. See, that's come off as a nut. The other one's come off as a bolt. You see what torques that is. There's actually an E10. I guess that's for holding. And I need a long spanner just to tighten it to 90. And then a final tightening by using a torque wrench. E10. It fits. Always going smaller and smaller until it doesn't fit. When I tried the E11, it seemed like it fit. Nope. Let's go down to E10. Always keep going smaller and smaller with torques. You never know. 2 came out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it lost a thread off that. 1 stayed in, which is okay. Use that to kind of push up and align the holes. It's a good idea to have a little look. See what it looks like. Pushed more. It might move though. I guess as long as it sits, it's not the steering, as long as it sits in there, it's fine. Right, mount. So if you need to change engine mount, get some rattling or something was worn. So you do it. Part number, I don't know. It comes in one piece. Give a little visual check. And that exposes a lot of the right inside the engine. So a fella stayed in there, which is okay. At some point I'm going to have to get this bracket off. I think this plastic bit will have to come off now, this plastic bit here. So let's have a look. So, remove upper fuel pipe locator plastic attachments. There should be something here. So I haven't got any. I think they go in here and here. So no need for that. Non-applicable. Next one. Remove wiring loom at the base of the upper timing belt cover. Plus plug. Do not remove sensor yet. Remove wiring loom. So wiring loom. Okay. Try and get the cable out of the way. I guess it's. Oh, I see. Wiring loom. I think it's attached to the case somewhere. It's still attached on the back side of this lower case. I think this is all part of the lower case. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of charging on the battery on this camera, so that needs to come off. And 1, 2. This needs to be put. These wires need to be pushed back, so I can get to 1, 2, and probably below. Right. So, and then after that, 4 bolts from this side engine mount. So hopefully I'll come back when that's done. 1, 2, 3, 4. So shallow depth. Right, there's a real difficult rectangular one. I'll do this one-handed, just there. My finger's pointing right there. It sits right in that lower cam belt cover. Below that is another rectangular kind of clip. That's the one I felt from below that wasn't inserted in. I used a pry bar. See that little gap in there? I used a pry bar and got it from there. I went in there and pushed it out like that. Right, so I've left this kind of hanging because this one's an awkward one as well. As long as it's out of the way, I don't mind. Now, this thing here, I thought this was, you know, I have to unplug this or something, but this is actually nothing. It doesn't connect to anything. Don't know what it is, some sort of sensor. Just leave it as it is. Not doing any harm. I mean, Don't think I should unplug it. I think it's meant to be unplugged either. Right, there's a big pipe, big cable here, and a thinner cable, because right at this junction here they're identical. There's no square one on top. So this sensor I pulled out and cleaned out with a little bit of contact. So just saying, pull it up to here. I think the cable, this is kind of should just fall away now after that. It's all loose from back here. It's all loose all the way from around here. Done an extra step. There's an 8mm bolt here. 7mm, 7mm. I can't remember if there's anything else attached. Oops, be careful. There's an engine under there. Oh, it's attached down here as well. Be careful. Let's check underneath. So down here, way down there, it looks like a 12. I'll check. And that should bring this whole thing out of the way. It gives me a little bit more room, extra step, I think. As I was taking the bolts out, I noticed they're kind of greasy. That leads directly into the engine bay. Now in the oil I can see, look at the top of the engine there. Must be coming out of the top, which is okay, I guess. I checked these bolts and they're all quite tight, so it's escaping from somewhere on the top. Maybe where I'm pouring it in, it's just leaking out or splashing out. So it's not coming out from any sort of crank seal or something like that. But we shall see. Let's hope I'm lucky as well. I think it's going to spill with oil. I wonder if there's another. I wonder if there's a. I wonder if I've got to remove this cover before it comes out. Let's do that. Looks like it's 8mm. Looks like the upper cover comes off. There's my timing belt anyway. Let's look at it. So, I haven't seen this fella in a while. There's where I put white paint. That coincides with that. And the timing is aligned. There's I put white paint on the bolt as well. Right, so I wonder if the mount will come off now. Or is there an extra bolt? We shall see. And it just came away. A little dowel it fits into. Maybe a bit of a wiggle. I'm just going to practice putting it back on. These dowels don't come out. They do not come out. I'm going to check my timing belt. Is it contaminated? It should be bone dry, right? It's a bit of a wiggle that sits home. So push it down somewhat and kind of sits in like that. Should be a nice click as it sits in the dowel, and make sure the dowels do not come out. Engine mount. Right, time to take the serpentine belt off the dry belt, or the what you call the AC belt, air conditioning belt. Anyway, the dry belt, that is not the cam belt. See that marker there? See them two long lines behind, and this kind of cut out that is where this tensioner is meant to sit, in between them two. So I'll need a spanner, fits over here, and I pull it that way and that belt should just slip off. Now there is a little hole just there for me to insert something, and that is way bigger than 2mm. I thought it was 2mm. Right, for my cam belt changing kit, oh, let me just show you. So there's a diesel engine locking tool set. Use a thin one. .15mm spanner. I'm just going to pull it back and insert. No, not fit. Right, so it's, if I can pull it with one arm, it's okay. So I'm going to try something a bit thinner, and I'll tell you what drill. Try it 4.5mm. Nope. So it's a 4mm drill bit. Right, 4mm drill bit. I will be relieved. I wonder if that spring's way too far forward, is what I'm thinking. I'll test it. If it springs too far forward, way too far forward, maybe worth leaving that drill bit there. See that tensioner. Check the conditioner belt. I've got a new belt. See, I'll mark the direction of travel. See, this is risky. Sure, you've got a good grip on it. Far it travels can be a problem. Don't let it snap back. Oh no, that's okay. Leaving a tension off a spring is always better than leaving it on. In fact, it would have got in the way. It would have stuck out and it would have got in the way. Right, so here it is. Right, I just want to say this crank here is 18mm bolt. Only do it clockwise. See right at the top 12 o'clock where I put a little mark, there's a hole that goes through the inner harmonic balancer and through to whatever's behind it. So make sure you wind it, and if you've gone over slightly, just don't go backwards, just go clockwise till it's spot on. You'll feel it tightening up, loosening, and sometimes it just shoots over. Just leave it if it shoots over. Keep winding it clockwise. That is a 5mm drill bit, or the special tool that shows you. This one is the other timing hole. I'll mention what size that is tomorrow. Probably use a special tool, but I will mention the drill bit size as well. I should see you tomorrow. Right, it's time for number 23. It's the next day, as you see. Cold and foggy and typical UK. Never mind, better than hot and scorching. Right, install special tool on the bottom crank. Alright, so probably use a drill bit of the same diameter, because the crank pulley can be removed with a drill bit installed. What I mean is, use a special tool because it's got an end to it, a silver end. But eventually I might have to, after I've cranked the bolt off, I might have to swap it for a drill bit, because I won't be able to slide, I won't be able to kind of wiggle out the wheel without pulling out the pin, if you know what I mean. Because the drill bit is just one long thin thing, but it's not strong enough. It's a bit brittle. If I wanted to kind of use that to push against when I'm undoing the bolt. time hole's at 12 o'clock, so the 5. There we go. Just double check, hasn't changed. No, and this is where I made a mistake in one of my previous videos. Well, I didn't check something that was obviously checkable. So I'm just going to show you. Here's a simple check. So I've got a 3mm drill bit, and I push the drill bit all the way in, and I kind of ask myself, how much does it go in? And you feel for how much it goes in. So in case you have this, you've turned the wheel wrong, and it's not, and the actual pin is not sticking in all the way. Look at the fat end on it now. It's not sticking all the way. You can tell by how much this travels in with a very thin object. It goes through there, through there, through there, and then you can then use your hands, using it as a gauge. Ask yourself, was that successful? So through, feel that again, through. So use that as a gauge. Checked and double checked, it goes in probably about a millimetre more when I use it, very thin one, I think. Let's do the top. So there's my larger pin, and I'll show you what drill bit is. Wobbling, that is 6mm. I'll try 7. I've got an 8 and 7.5 I'm missing. I'll try 7. Wobbling. So we're on, definitely on to about 8. Here is 8. It is not fitting. So I'll try 7.5. 7.5 fits. Now I'm going to use a same trick again, the smaller. I'm going to mark off the thing that is fully inserted, mark off where it is, and I'm going to put the locking tool in. Feels a lot better with the locking tool, and I'm even going to do careful with this one, because this one could fall out. Keep on it. Right, so this is the sort of thing you should do as a precaution, and I didn't do for my job on the alternator, if you remember, on the Honda one. Slight mistake. Take it away from the engine compartment, especially when anything spins, in case you lose it. So here it is. Comparing distances, they look identical. I would say definitely use the locking tool, because the 7.5 slightly didn't fit. The 8 was too big, because we don't want it to kind of shift when we're rotating anything, right? Not now anyway. So we've done that one. Special tool at the bottom, special at the top. Special toolkit only, maybe 7.5mm drill bit. I wouldn't recommend it. So white paint mark, single stripe at top cam, belt and wheel, double stripe crank wheel. Mark direction of belt travel. The reason why that's done is I'm going to put the same marks on the new belt when I install it, and I line belt against belt, and that's going to give me a very good idea about if I'm if I've got it in the right, if I missed something, after I've rotated it several times, if I get everything just right, gives me a very good idea. Next one is lock the flywheel. Well, I had to cancel the double stripe of the belt, but I'm going to rearrange it and reorganise it a bit later because I haven't even taken the bottom cover off yet. Lock the flywheel using long nose pearl pliers and tape. So I might use pipe clips like this. So let's see what I can. Notice I've previously put the black stripe on the side of that flywheel, so you can see there's 2 screws there, but actually these are 2 holes and no actual screws. I checked them out before, so something can insert straight in, but you can't really screw it in to lock it. So let's try a short pair of long nose pliers and a long nose. No, it just have to be a short one, I think. So prepare to have a spare one ready. You need. Well, I'm going to tape. I have taped over the tip in case anything snaps off. It'll snap off in one piece, and it will snap off, and I'll catch it. Also, soften and blow on those delicate teeth, probably. Okay, this is what I came out with in the end. So I jammed in there long nose pliers, and I've just clip tied, whatever you call these things, hose pipe, tightened them, and it's quite solid. Remember, you do not crank the engine with this there. So don't forget to take off these circlips afterwards as well, reminding myself as well as you. So I'm going to have to take them on, take them off, take them on, take them off, take them on, take them off for the testing. Right, so there it is. One of those pliers stuck in there. Careful not to damage the teeth. Got 2 of them hose pipe clips. One of those pliers tightening down, and it's quite solid. Possibly could go backwards, but certainly ain't going to go spinning. The teeth are kind of open as well. The prongs are open to give it stability. Well, this is it. I feel like I should hold this as well. 2 hands on the actual machine. 450 Newton meters. This is not. Couldn't find an 18 impound wrench. It has 17, 19, but not 18. Obviously, I can try. If it doesn't come off, I could try using a long lever to undo it. But all that, don't forget, it's going to put strain on these pins here. Now it's the time to double check the pins aren't falling out above and below. Oh, I wish there was a simpler way of doing it. Other than this. Not an impact wrench, it's a multi. I haven't got one. Okay, that came out easier. Well, not easier, but the way it should have done. Thank you, God. Now this thing is exposed. I'm just going to mark. This is the old one. Initial wiggle. Oh, not even initial wiggle. Watch out for any pins dropping. Just keep an eye open. This is where I might need to swap. Oh, that pin's okay. I'll swap that for my 5mm drill bit. Wiggle, wiggle. Not even a wiggle, it just fell off. That's my, because I wouldn't be able to do that with the pin there, so I'm going to swap back this with this fella. Alright. just analysing this. So this is how it was vertically. Notice there's a notch just there. That notch is it 90 degrees? The notches here, you can visibly see it fitting like that. There it is. Otherwise it won't fit. Oh, this is one. No, you don't want to rotate anything. Put that back in. Alright. Alright. Part 29, remove bottom timing belt cover, 5 bolts. 1, 2, they look, could be 7, I'm not sure. I'll let you know. Work your way up the top. There should be 5 of them. Should be 7mm, yep. One here. I'll bring the camera around here. Notice why the sensor shouldn't be taken out yet, because it's actually behind the lower cover. I'm just going to loosen them a bit. Keep looking. There's one in the middle. One here. One up here. I'm going to struggle to see the others holding this camera. Just going to loosen them. So already bottom cover should be coming loose. Find 2 more. There's one here I can see. Just here. Where's the last one? Down. No, done that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's coming loose. It's on this side. All careful all the time. Being careful not to definitely on the right side of this lower cover. Oh, it's at the top, just down there. Down there. See right there? The last one I couldn't find is the one above the 8mm. The 8mm is part of the engine, so don't take that one off. It's all 7mm. Nearly went and undid that one because that's the one I could see from above. But you can still do it more from below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Make sure you don't knock the pin out. I don't know if there's any wiring looms. Undo a couple any wiring looms left on it. I don't think I've got any. You never know. Oh, it's not screwed all the way. I haven't screwed the one on the right all the way. Right. Lifts out. Somewhere along the line my logic tells me to draw a picture very soon. Right, this one's a bit awkward because I know eventually I'm going to put the wheel over it and I won't be able to see anything. This is of course got teeth in it. You can put the teeth there. How am I going to mark? How am I going to paint this? Let's have a think. It's going to be covered over. So I think I shouldn't paint this. I should paint along here and here. So if I clean an area like this up, just there, and I paint 2 marks. That should do it. Just paint that. There we go, there's my double mark here. corresponds to the frame there. When I put the wheel back on it, I should still, the harmonic balancer, I should still be able to see it. Eventually I'll have to put the bolt back in. Well, yeah, I'll have to put a bolt back in and I'll be rotating it with the harmonic balancer off actually. So that'll do. I think that's a good idea. Right, 5.5mm drill bit with some PTFE around it, and PTFE tape is that really cheap stuff you can buy, because otherwise it'll just fall out. So this is the fuel pump, I think. Yeah, I think it is. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, you're meant to put one according to the electronic manual. You're meant to put something in here. So 31, I've already got the special tool in the crank. So 32, draw a picture of the belt and pulleys. That's what I make of it. Make sure it's in a nice ring binder like this so you don't lose it. Yes, top mark, bottom mark, just done that, direction of travel. There it is, in its glory. Just hold that a second. I might even take a picture. I should swap 34 and 33 around. Should be remove the green sensor, crank green sensor colour. Well, remove green sensor it should be. Because I won't be able to take it out. I won't be able to take the belt out without that coming out. Because 33 says remove timing belt tensioner bolt. So it will go all slack. So no harm doing it now. Just swap this. Oh, that's tight. 8mm. Oh. That was on tight. So that was about 35 Newton meters. And I've been collecting, every time I pause I collect all my little bits and pieces into a different bag. This is in a dowel. And that's how it was, wasn't it? Make sure this sensor is not going your magnetic tray. There's a thread in there. Check the dowel does not come out. Well, I'm just going to bag this one up. And every time I pause, you see me have a break or something. I've been bagging them up, whatever steps, is whatever bag, and I'll not be mixing it up. Right, don't do what I just did. I stuck a 6mm Allen key and tried to rotate it. Another thing I didn't do is to check my spare part. I can see an arrow that says to twist it this way. I put an extender pipe on it, and I went to twist and it snapped off. So that thing is absolutely useless now. Luckily I've got a spare one, but not meant to do that. Don't do that. It just says you should just undo this. This is a 13mm hex socket. Just undo it and let it just all fall apart. Don't bother trying to just test it like I do. Like I did. Nice extender, make sure all the pins are still in, make sure you're not going to... And I went looking, obviously I went looking for that little bit that flew off. Make sure it's not in the belt, not stuck anywhere. That's not too tight at all. It's only... That came undone quite easily. Now I'm just going to ratchet it. And when you go to tighten this is 30 Newton meters. It felt about 30. I had a 30 centimeter extender bar. still coming out. So it should just fall away. I just want to show you something. Do you see down there? That sits in that little groove, and there's a little arrow that points in the right direction. Once you've set the tension right, it should tighten down 30 Newton meters. Still coming. So there we're on to step. We're on to step 34. It's loose now. Things are going to go flying, I think. I know, it's just kind of flopped out. Look at that. Silly me, it's a big chunk of metal. I might go looking on the floor for that in a minute. That arrow there, see that arrow? Once you set it using Allen key later on, set it so that the arrow is pointing right between those two, and then tighten up to 30 Newton meters. Logical, slide the timing belt out now. And you've got some slack. Careful not to dislodge any of these pins, and don't rotate anything at all. Work your way to the bottom. The pins are all still in there now. I've got a very good view now of the pin at the bottom, how it sits in the little groove. I'll just show you. See it? See my fingers pointing? Goes right through, sits in there. Let's have a look at the belt. You never know when these are going to snap. I was going to do this a year ago, and there's still some paint on it. I think the clue is if there's paint on it and it doesn't go shiny. Actually, this is starting to go shiny. Shiny and paint gone off. Usually a good sign, and the teeth start wearing out. So make sure they match up. Louise, there's that piece on the floor. I'm just going to match it to my piece that fell off. So we'll just have a look. I don't know if that's all of it. There we go. Yep. Nasty. Fell right off. Tiny shard left. Think no, it fits perfectly, so nothing left. I'm just going to dispose of that one. Right, the smart thing to do obviously is to line it up teeth by bit. Teeth, it's the same belt, so whoever you changed it before used the OEM product from Ford. Same marker, teeth by teeth. Just look at the teeth. It could be slightly stretched, but just match the teeth up as you go along. That should be the key. So when you go all the way back here, there's a mark there, there's a mark there. You can see it. Carry on. So mark the same mark on the same place on the new belt, and then just keep going just to make sure, because I can't stretch this out until to see if it's the same size, but what I can do is match teeth for teeth. You never know, you might one tooth out or something. Who knows? teeth for teeth. Well, I missed it there. It was okay up until there. I mean, ideally you just stretch it out, but it's so stiff. I think it's possible. Teeth for teeth. Hopefully you come to the same. All these things are just logical. Just do them yourself. There you go. Original marker again. See it? Just going to do that check once more. If you want the part number, I don't know if this is part number, but it's all there. 141 RRP plus 200, made in Italy. Could be this 980449298, or it could be 171366167. Who knows? Good time to change the idler. 16mm hex. So it should be idler should be 37 according to the book, the over file. Always, as you're going along, just check the pins are in, just in case you dislodge them. What you don't want to do is rotate it at all. You never know, all this moving around. Okay, yeah, I'll go with 37. It wouldn't be much more than that. That was fairly easy. Nothing like the idler pulley on the Honda Civic, the one that ran the drive belt. That was really tight, wasn't it? And I will check. This one's a nut, I think, not a bolt. I don't want to bore you with that. Get that off. Someone rightly so put Loctite on it, I think. No washers or anything. Nothing fell down. It's wearing out. Hear it? Yeah, it needs changing. This one's the idler pulley. Made in China, made in France. This idler pulley. The tensioner is made in China. Here's the, I think this could be the part number. I only get Ford stuff. Genuine Ford stuff. It's too much of a risk to buy something else and you've got to change it again. One mistake I made is I didn't check which way around. I think the lettering were on the outside. So I'm just going to match it up to the old one. Time for the water pump. So let's get tortured here, it's getting a bit dark. 8mm. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, probably one down there. So I'm going to count from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to keep going down. 5 at the bottom, 6, 7, 8mm bolts. So they should be on when you're tightening them. Let's have a look. All the pumps should be 24 Newton meters when we go to tighten them. Yeah, that's not too tight at all. So this tells me how much to tighten them by. I'm just going to put my notes there. Right, water pump from Ford is again. So all you got to do is do not spin this dry. It's not be. I mean, it's really tempting to start spinning it. There is a little cutout here. See that? Don't worry about that. I've checked this. I went and thought that was an error, and I got another one and it had the same thing in it, and that's for air bubbles or something like that. It's very finely cut. See that? So there's only 2 screws in there, and there's 5 more. So I should have used my logic. I should have counted the ones on here rather than trying to count and find them on the actual thing itself. So I'm using new bolts in a minute. So the one that stays in, try and keep the, okay, all the same length, the bolts are the same length. No, don't assume, measure it. Yeah, the bolts are the same length. There's nothing special about these two, but I'm just trying to keep the gasket in. Right, let's take that one. Right, I've undone most of them. Let's try and wiggle the thing out. I'm going to go from above. Make sure the pins are stuck in. I'm going to fall to the right last moment now. So it could be pry bar job. There's spaces to do some pry barring. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to show you where I think you can pry bar. Just down here and down there at the top, and get ready to catch the liquid coming out. Trying it now, gentle. Not sure, just check all your new ones, see what it looks like. As stiff as anything. Put some sort of shut. Oh, there we go. Put the seal. It's going to go everywhere. I can pry from the bottom. Drain the water out. I'm fine from the bottom. Remember, this stuff is poisonous. Catch as much of it. Push your hands slowly. Oh my god. It's poisonous. I have to wash my gloves. Made sense to pry it from the bottom. Alright. Okay, you get it on. There's the old one. And it's got that little groove in it as well. Look, see it? It's not broken or anything like that. Spins okay, but see that seal? It's still on there. Now I'm going to spend some time taking that seal off and kind of call it a rest period. Ooh, can't see it seal. There's a seal. It's still stuck on it. I'm going to try and carefully scrape it off and clean it. Just before I do that, listen. Hear that? That's wearing out. I would advise using plastic to scrape it off, not metal. Get it all in one piece. So I'm going to be damaging that bit underneath. Right, I've just spent 20 minutes doing this. Scraping rubber off this metal part, which is unnecessary step because I wasn't paying attention. That, see the gasket, and I'll cause a load of mess as well. I should be clean underneath it, any kind of rubber underneath it. So top layer, why bother? Still use the plastic tool. See, the bit underneath is the bit I want to get. Here's the old gasket. Here's the metal. So it's rubber, metal, rubber. Now underneath, that's the stuff I've got to get out. Oh well. Now I would recommend unscrewing these screws until there's a thread popping out here and here. So the other holes are actually bigger. You can't just put I'll show you that. You can't just put a screw in there, it won't hold. But these two that are already in there are smaller. So I would recommend leaving a bit of thread out. So you'll have to unwind the screw back out and leaving a bit of thread out because you won't be able to get it in. Then, without bending the gasket of course, or scratching it with the drill bit, like an idiot like me. We'll just double check I ain't scratched it. Nope, I ain't scratched it. Right. Get the wire and loom out of the way. So obviously install this point, start winding it in by hand, and only bottom one's going in, top one is not. Make sure it sits comfortably. Right. And so, and just wind it in a little bit. Of course, work diagonally, opposing each other. Go underneath, just double check. And double check that the seal is in properly. Putting these two first, then the others. Look, before I've even put the screws down hand tight, the seal just sort of flops onto that little space. It's a perfect fit. So I'm just going to go around with a trim tool, go underneath to make sure it's just in there first. So far, fingers tightened only. Now, remember that over file, the fourth one. It says 24 Newton meters. I don't think it was 24. When I undid it just now, it was quite light. So I'm going to set it for, I'm going to go for 10 to start with. I'm going to go opposite. I need no, I'm going to put an extender bar. And that's tighter than it was already. It's only on 10. Right, so it's 10, 11 Newton meters. Probably is only 10 or 11 because you're going to squash that gasket to death. I can't see it's been 24. I think it's more like 24 would squash that. Squash the hell out of it. Right, so I'm going to go with 10 or 11. That felt quite right there. I'm holding it. It's quite a long thing. I'm getting the end. So 10 or 11 should be about right. Sometimes it's just common sense. Checked on the old Ford Mondeo manual, water pump, not water pump pulley, water pump diesel engine is 24 Newton meters. Okay, that's quite high. However, water pump all bolts 12 Newton meters. But water pump petrol 10 Newton meters, diesel's 24. All engines, alright. Okay. What did it say in the paperwork? What did I assume it to be? Let me have a look. Alright, bit of a disaster. I think those screws were a bit rubbish. I tried tightening up, it just kept tightening up and tightening up without, I went for the 24. But the thing is, it never clicked. So it's not 24, I would call it 15, I would say. So it clicked at 15, even clicked at, yeah, 15 I would call it, 15, 16. I'm going to have to drill this out and get my best drill bits out, try and locate. You can already see liquid coming out the bottom there. Right, after running through using my cobalt drill bits from I think 1.5 all the way to 3.5, and one of them wasn't sharp, so I had to swap it for another one from an old box. Screw extractors, one of these, so you turn it anti-clockwise and the act of drilling damages the screw. There we go. See that? So, and you can see the fluid actually leaking from in there. Right, 15, we're going to go 15, no more. Since the gasket's pressed to the back already because I swashed it so hard with the 20 newton meters, so 15 on. The Loctite on this one, 37 newton meters. You know, I think I know why it snapped at the when I talked to the water pump. It's because I didn't tighten the bolt at the bottom of the torque wrench, and it was, I think the torque wrench is going out a bit. That's why. So make sure at the bottom of your torque wrench, after you set it, tighten this little thing there. There's the front of the torque wrench, 16 millimeter. So you should only use torque wrenches to tighten, not to loosen. These things are in the way. 37. Hold it by the handle where it's some gnarled cuttings. Didn't hold it anywhere else, but it didn't make any difference really. 37. I do. So that Loctite should hold it in. Here is the tensioner. Leave that pin in there. Don't pull it out yet. Really hard to do one hand. So make sure it sits. It's hard to point out. See there? Make sure that little rectangular piece fits in between that little dowel sticking out, the big dowel sticking out. So it should sit in like that. And I think I should put Loctite. Yeah, a little bit of Loctite on that as well. Well, I did take a picture, and it kind of stuck out a little, went into the cog a little bit. Kind of now I realise why that water pump needs to be pinned, because as I stretch this out, as I stretch out the belt backwards, there's a wish for the pulley to turn. So it's fairly tight. Oh, this is almost impossible with the camera there. Right, the easiest way I thought of doing it is do the bottom first. So that's the tension's not on, that's why mark's not on perfectly yet. Put the bottom on first. Just go around your hands, make sure, because that was sitting below that earlier, and that belt was sitting below here and just kicking it a little bit. Right. Then I took the tensioner completely off. So I had the belt in the right position, tension completely off. The pin's still there, and the pin's still there. The cutout, the rectangular cutout down there is still on the massive dowel. Then I kind of just used the leverage of the, so fit it, make sure that was stretched at the top, make sure the belt was stretched at the top, and use the socket just to, it's going to line everything up to the middle. I'm just going to look at my old footage as well, where the belt at the top was about here. I'm just going to check where the belt was on the other equipment before I hand tighten that. Now remember I've got Loctite down there. It's going to feel a bit stiffer than normal. Probably a mistake putting Loctite. It doesn't need it. It's going to give me a false torquing number. So I put basically down below on the water pump in the middle of the cog, and here, and I use the old on this tensioner. I use the old tensioner, and it sat in the middle as well. And for the fuel pump, it was just off the edge, as I'm showing you now. Oops. I should invest in better equipment. Gorilla pod or something. Using some really cheap stand. Shouldn't have Loctite this. So if I pull out the pin now, we know I'm going to tighten it, then loosen it. So it sits square. That's tightened to about 20. Now loosen it. Okay. So right now, the arrow's there. We know that thing can snap, cause me no end of trouble. If it snaps, one last look. Tea time. That one's there. I think, could that be a tooth wrong? I don't know. It's a bit bloody loose. It was a bit loose, that one at the bottom. I'll say it's a tooth off. So I'm going to undo that and then shift everything over one. But, you know, I should have put a white blob early on there as well. I will do that later on. Now I shifted the teeth over one, and I tightened. Where am I? I pulled taut here, and lo and behold, the tensioner is the last thing I put on. It is just a snug fit. There's not even a lot of tension on that now. So how do you know you're doing it right? When it kind of, the tensioner, the last thing you put in, snugly fits in. There's no, look, feel it? It's quite loose. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyway. Make sure the belt sits in the middle of it all. It's finger tight. Now I can do it finger tight, don't need a spanner now. So who knows, I don't think I've cross-threaded it or anything like that. That's a massive bolt, I don't think. The same trick. Sit it in the middle, tighten it all the way, and loosen it. Oh darn! It was not sitting on this rectangular thing properly. So, luckily, right, rectangular piece sitting in there properly now. Okay. Drop my socket. double check. There's a slight play, you can slightly, half a mil wobble it up and down. Right, top is good. Mark on the water pump is good. I mean the fuel pump. Pin still in. Set the belt in the middle of everything. Everything's sat in the middle. Right. Okay, it's time to pull the pin out, I think. Time to double check, triple check. Marks at the top. Check your diagram. Who knows? You never know. Looks okay. It's a bit slack. Okay, it's because the water pump is slack. Now I tighten that. Yeah, I think that's okay. So you turn that water pump. I think that's fine. Whereas before it was just one off. So I turn the water pump, make sure it's tightened. Imagine it tightening up. Double check, triple check. There's no going back once you pull that pin out. I don't even know what's going to happen if I pull the pin out. I'll film it. Let me show you. Film it. See if I pull it up from below. The arrow drops to the bottom. There's more tension in the belt. Keep that. Okay. Now, that shouldn't happen. Well, actually, to loosen it, go anti-clockwise. That's what the little arrow's for. To loosen it, go anti-clockwise. That's why I broke it earlier. So to if you want to tighten the belt, go clockwise with a 6mm. See that? Yeah. And then that's 30 Newton meters. So I did go to loosen it earlier, didn't I? I guess you can only. I did turn it that way and it snapped. So don't do that, it won't work. Right, so I'm going to look from below. I'm stick my head. I'm just going to look now with the camera because I can't see it from below. That's not quite in the middle. Well, I was expecting it to bounce backwards, but it hasn't bounced back at all. It just sort of very gently. See that? And it stays there. And I'm not using a lever, just some hand force. I would say the arrow is bang in the middle. I would say. Okay. Newton meters. It's a 13 socket. check the arrow gets shifted or not. Just check. So nothing shifts. Swap it for a multi-head actually. Multi-point head, so it's not giving me enough make sure the arrow's sitting in the middle, because when the actual tightening might cause it to shift. Shifted too much upwards, too tight. A little bit of an art really. I'm going to use a little spanner, a little ratchet. I don't trust that big thing. 30 may be too much. That's on tight, that's a bang in the middle. Oh, it's a little bit over. When you're loosening it, that's why it snapped before. Using the Allen key, you must loosen this bolt before you can make any changes. See, now it moves. That's why it snapped before. Looking from below, it's pointed right at the base of that. That's the bit where it flattens out. It's a big bolt, so I'm just going to use, you know, bolts have their limits. Oh, why does it do that? It stays there when I do that. Well, I'm just going to keep playing around with it, I think. After much jiggling around, I think that is in the centre. That's in the centre. Let me take pictures. Right, at this stage, do not remove any of the pins yet. Just check the tension. Remember, that tension fits nicely. There's no having to heave or shove like I did to begin with. Should also sit. So the next stage should be, actually I got it in the wrong order, I'm not going to show you the paperwork. Fit the old, with all the pins still inserted with the flywheel still locked, because we're going to have to turn this with enough force. What I did earlier, believe it or not, I turned it and this bottom crank rotated, everything went out of line. If that happens again, I'd have to undo the idler, start all over again. So that it's tight enough to turn, I think, the belt. Now take off the pliers from locking flywheel, remove the pin from the fuel pump, the upper cam, lower crank pulley. I'm just going to give that a little bit more, I don't want it slipping. My air gun should be able to, my torque wrench should be able to deal with that. So that error cost me an hour. I had to reline the belt to the top, lined up, pin out, pin out. Pliers are back, pin down the bottom out. I've checked tensioner, tensioner is in the middle, check the belt, ready to wind it around to see how our timing is. So right, good. Slippy. Windy. First time round, no white marks here. See what's going on upstairs. Nothing upstairs, not aligned. So I'm hoping second time round there you go, slowly. And lined up. And the bottom, no white marks, don't know what's going on. Mark at the top. Nope, mark is not at the top. So, I'm going to carry on. Let's try it 3 or 4 times around. Single marks down here now, we know it can't be right. Fourth time. Oh dear. All because it slipped. All because it slipped.